main event in Burlington on June 23rd will be a clash between two of Canada's top pro fighters. First, Burlington, Ontario's own Adam Assenza. Adam has racked up 4 finishes in his last 5 fights, and he'll be looking for another one on Saturday night. His opponent will be Moncton, New Brunswick's Sean Wallace. Wallace has 7 professional wins, ending 6 of them inside the distance. He's shown a well-rounded game and the ability to finish a fight anywhere. In the biggest fight of both men's careers, they will face off for BTC's lightweight title. With 2 dangerous finishers entering the cage on Saturday night, this is a can't-miss main event. Adam Assenza is coming off back-to-back TKO wins in the BTC cage. He now takes on his toughest challenge to date. In preparation, Adam spreads his time among a variety of gyms: Parabellum, Bay Area Athletic Club, and Burlington Training Center, cultivating different looks and skills. He will compete Saturday for BTC's inaugural lightweight title.
I've always been an athlete. Growing up, I was a gymnast. I was an artistic gymnast and a national tumbler. And I did that till I was about 16, 17, and then I got out of that and I needed something to kind of fill that void, so I started training martial arts and MMA, and that kind of took over. Training and fighting is fun for me. This just seems like the right fit. I get the best of both worlds. Training at Paris is phenomenal. The coaching staff's amazing, and the talent and the work ethic in the room of all the fighters that come out I can't say enough about it. It's hard to get that sort of atmosphere at one gym, but Rory McDonald, Lennon Whitlock, Lucas, and Chris Prickett, they're able to put that all together in one gym.
Adam Assenza is legitimately one of the most gifted athletes I've ever coached, trained with. We haven't ever competed in a real sense, but competed with on the mat. He is a gifted human being, and a lot of dealing with Adam is about harnessing that athleticism. Now that he's starting to become a bit more seasoned as a fighter, he's getting the benefit of both ring time and experience and that athleticism. That is a tough combination for any athlete to compete against.
I love watching Assenza fight. He is an athletic, attributes-based fighter. He's very skilled, he's very smart, but it's his attributes that make him just a little different than other fighters. He can do things physically that are deceptive, that are unpredictable. And so that makes him quite special. Very, very, very quick grappler, strong striker, moves in and out quickly, kind of bounce in, strike you, and slide away. Very, very fun to watch.
When it comes to the supple skills, Adam's the kid here. He's the one. You see the way he's putting these together.
There's not really a particular problem that he presents. We look at his strengths and his weaknesses, and then we tailor our game plan to typically attack those areas of his game. I match up well everywhere with most opponents. Like I said, I have a well-rounded game. I feel confident in all parts of my game.
Smart fighters are prepared for the expected response. Adam Assenza gives you the unexpected response. So these two match up physically very well. It makes sense for them to fight each other at the points in their career, but I like the way that they match up with their minds and with their skills and with their attributes. And I just love this main event.
Moncton's Sean Wallace came up on the regional scene of the east coast of Canada. He has secured a strong record and now looks to broaden his horizons, taking on one of Ontario's best. Now living in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, he trains at Wolf Run MMA. With a strong team behind him, at BTC 3, he looks to bring a belt back to the East Coast.
Traditional martial arts when I was a kid, like Taekwondo and karate. And then was playing football in high school, and then someone turned me on to The Ultimate Fighter. And I was watching that, and I was like, wow, I'd really like to try that. So I was like 18, and I took my first MMA kind of class. I was hooked from that. I quit playing football. I just found a local gym to start training at, and I trained for about maybe a year or two before I took my first amateur fight. Training camp's been pretty good. It's always tough. Like the tougher it is, usually the better it will be. Put in a lot of hard rounds and thrown in a lot of areas that everybody always has stuff that they want to work on. So it's coming along great. There's no injuries or anything like that. So that's always a positive thing.
A lot of fun because Adam's the hometown guy and Sean Wallace is coming in here from the East Coast. So on the East Coast, they know him now. He comes from a killer gym, Wolf Run MMA. Jason Sago is probably the biggest fighter out of there. And Jason Sago is a UFC vet, beaten some of the best guys in the world. And Sago gives you the idea of what the blueprint of Sean Wallace is. Got to make smart choices all the time, extremely well trained, and hard to fight, just hard to fight.
Like, there's not as many distractions, I guess. Like, there's not a big city life to pull me away. Keeps me honest to try to just be a better fighter. I can't be screwing around a whole lot. And I've seen a few of his fights. Looks to be, I don't want to say he's a striker because looks like he's a mixed martial artist, but he seems to be a striker, has a lot of flash, looks very fast, likes to move around a lot, and looks like he's going to be a good opponent. I think I can strike with him, but I think I could beat him up in the clinch and on the ground, maybe submit him. He has been submitted before.
I love this fight. Assenza's very creative and very athletic. He's an attribute-based fighter, but he's technically very strong, incredibly unpredictable, and innovative in real time. Sean Wallace, coming in from the East Coast, trains with Paul Abel and that great Wolf Run crew. Smart, assesses the situation, always finds the path of least resistance, and always uses high percentage choices. Action-packed fight. I love it.
You see this fight going, is this going to be on the feet, on the ground?
I don't know. I see my hand being raised, and that's all that matters.
If we have to strike, we'll strike. If we go to the ground, we go to the ground.
I like to put on a show. Like, I'm all about the show. So fighting in my hometown of Burlington, all my people are coming out. You know, Burlington's been my hood for half of my life. So, you know, I'm just excited to be able to do that.
I just think that I can bring a pressure to him that can maybe break him. I'm not coming all this way just to show up and take a beating. I'm coming here to fight, and I'm going to win this fight.
June 23rd, you should expect some exciting, breathtaking type of performance. Don't miss out. Don't blink.
Hello, mixed martial arts fans, and welcome to the Central Arena here in Burlington, Ontario, a stone's throw away from the provincial capital of Toronto. Tonight, BTC is pleased to present Prophecy, where we'll have a chance to see some of the province's up-and-coming talent. I am your host, John Ramdeen, alongside one of Canada's top bantamweight fighters, Josh Hill. And Josh, you trained with a number of fighters fighting on this card. It is very exciting to think about the future of mixed martial arts. And it wasn't that long ago that MMA was illegal here in Ontario. A lot of the athletes from Ontario didn't have a platform to perform. Tonight, BTC having a chance to showcase some of the young talent.
Awesome. I'm happy it's back in Ontario again. It's been a little bit since we've been here last, but there's so much up-and-coming talent. Guys that that were 16 when they started with us are now fighting professionally. So I'm so excited to see it. I'm happy to be here. If I'm not in the cage, I'm happy to be on this side of the cage with you.
It is heating up here in the Central Arena. Of course, I'm going to do my best Nostradamus impression and say that I think there will be the crowning of at least one champion. We say one champion because we know there are two title fights, but unfortunately in the co-main event, One of the fighters didn't make weight, so only Adam Assenza can become champion tonight.
On June 23rd, 2 fighters will be competing for their first professional win. Burlington Surrey City and Kitchener's Avinash Chowdy. Chowdy has finished all his fights inside the distance and doesn't plan on stopping now. Surrey capped his amateur career winning a title, and now makes his pro debut coming off back-to-back head kick knockouts.
Having everybody gear up at one time, man, like literally we got like I think 7, 8 people in this gym gearing up for the same event, and then a bunch of other guys fighting pretty much on the same day, like at different events, like in the States and stuff. So everybody's on point, everybody's peaking at the same time, right? So the sparring, the last couple of weeks, the sparring has been insane. The guys are like, you know, in it to kill it, man. Everybody's trying to do their best. Nobody's out of shape. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna get, I haven't had an easy round for the last couple of weeks since my last camp, to be honest. So, because everybody's in top shape, and then you really see the guys that aren't, they're not staying here. You know what I mean? Everybody's at peak. Every time I show up to practice here, it feels like fight day because that's how intense it is. I feel more nervous coming in on a Tuesday than I go fight. Like that's how high level I feel here. You know what I mean? Like the pressure feels harder here.
How I started, I was 19 and I just wanted to train. I took some martial arts, I can't remember. Then ever since then, I just been training by myself most of the time. I just recently joined Precision 2 years ago now.
What do you like most about the martial arts community in Kitchener?
Honestly, I'm not part of that community much. I do my own thing, as the shirt says, you know. It's just my thing, you know, like, there's always been me against everyone since day one.
What should we expect from you on June 23rd?
Man, just probably like just the most well-rounded, the best shape I've been in my life. Still in shape from my last fight, and I'm only getting faster, only getting stronger. My conditioning is off the roof. I feel amazing. I can do rounds for days. And then just working with Rory a lot and Chris Prickett and really getting my wrestling and jiu-jitsu to the next level. So that's something I've been focusing on because, you know, I always felt my striking is good and I felt confident everywhere else, but now I feel like I have finishes from everywhere now.
He's a guy that a lot of times we're trying to harness what's already there. We're trying to guide an innate ability. Lennon spends a lot of time with him sharpening his tools. I had the chance to do some tech sparring with Siri the other day, and that kid is dangerous. He's fast. He's technically very, very good, and again, just a freak athleticism. And at his age, he has the possibility, legitimately, to go as far as he wants.
Have you watched some footage on him?
I just saw a head kick. He likes the head kick. That's cool with me. I would like the KO, but I'm just gonna go for the finish, whatever I can get. Submission. Knockout, TKO. Verbal tap out, doesn't matter.
I'm always looking for the finish. I don't go in there like forcing a finish, but I want the finish.
card at 145 pounds. Avinash Chowti taking on Siri City. Chowti with one bout under his belt, and how valuable is that, Josh, when you know what to expect now? As a debuting fighter, yeah, you've done the work, you've trained, you've had hard sparring, but it's very, very different once the cage door closes. It's almost impossible to replicate the real thing.
Absolutely, and I think that's where amateur MMA comes in handy. Something that wasn't around when I was coming up, but I know Siri as well as Avinash have been amateur fights, so they know what it's like to get in that cage. They know the crowd pressure. So, but getting your start in MMA, you want to start with a win. Absolutely. So I know Siri today, Avinash is going to starting 0-1, but he's going to come out, doesn't want to make it 0-2.
Is a fire lit under Avinash Chowti. We will see momentarily. But we saw him warming up. He looks calm, collected, ready to perform. Came in shape, on weight. Not something we can say about all the fighters on the card tonight. As a matter of fact, a couple of the fighters, including our main eventer, Sean Wallace, failed to make weight. And unfortunately for him, he will not be able to win the title tonight at 155 pounds. Came in a few pounds heavy. Adam Assenza, he's the only one that can leave the main event with the strap. That's later tonight in our main event, the co-featured bout. Kyle Prepolec taking on Scott Hudson. Alex Bolay taking on Aaron Jeffrey, Lindsey Garbett, Hyan Dos Santos. A great night of combat in store for all the viewers tuning in to BTC 3 Prophecy.
Please welcome, fighting out of the right corner, Surrey City!
And a big pop for Surrey City. Clearly a lot of support. And what can you tell us are the strengths of City?
Surrey City has been training with us for about 4 or 5 years now. He started when he was about 16. And we used to just give him the beatings. He took the beatings and he came up, and now he's giving them back. And he went from a guy that, used to be a soft round when you're sparring to now one of my hardest rounds in the gym. This kid's got tremendous talent, especially on the feet. He's electrifying. He's very creative, as well as his opponent tonight, so I think it should make for a very interesting matchup.
And is that the way you believe that fighters should be developed? Just thrown into the deep end of the pool and let them figure out a way to swim?
I think to a certain extent, yes. And that's how I was brought up. It kind of just builds your mental preparation as well. Obviously you don't want to give them too much beatings and get their confidence down, but I think it's the way to do it. Now he's proven himself. He's training with amongst the best in the country, and he's ready for this.
The Parabellum Gym, one of the top, as you pointed out, in Canada, producing some of the most spectacular talent the Great White North has to offer. Rory McDonald, Lyndon Whitlock, doing a great job there. It's an open door policy. Anybody can come in to Parabellum.
It's pretty much an open door policy. We welcome everybody. Basically what we want is just someone that's there to learn and get better, not looking to hurt people, not looking to come and get inside tips and whatnot. So everybody's there to help each other. Lyndon and Roy kind of taking the reins, and they've really started running a really good program there for the pros. People from Toronto, Hamilton, London, all coming together, training just to get better.
Students of all ages. I saw that Rory's dad just got his purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, he's never too late. Never too late.
Exciting things for the team at Parabellum. But Avinash Chowti wants to steal some of that thunder tonight, and the pressure's off him.
The pressure is off him. Surrey's a hometown boy. He's making his pro debut. He's a spoiler tonight. He's playing spoiler.
Laser-like focus on the face of Surrey City. City just drinking it up, a big smile on his face. How important is it that you enjoy this whole process?
Enjoy the moment. I wish I did it more when I was fighting my hometown, but that's, you know, I finally did it towards the end of my last fight in hometown, but it's important, man. Enjoy it. You never know how long it's going to last, right?
The demeanor on the two men, very, very different. Chowdy.
Very stone cold.
Yeah.
So he wants to have some fun.
And we are off to the races. Chowdy in the Valley Tudo shorts. City in the black and white. Both men figuring out how things are going in the center of the cage. John Ramdeen alongside Josh Hill. Quick movement by Chowdy as he tries to chop the lead leg.
Man, just gauging their distances right now, seeing what each other's throwing, getting some reactions.
And it certainly looks like City might have the reach advantage. Is that one of his biggest weapons, the jab?
Suri's a long for a featherweight, and he's starting to utilize his length.
He's not going to make the adjustment, Suri. Let's get to it. I need you to use your jab and in chin, buddy.
City very mobile.
1 minute in. Suri, can you go feet towards the face?
Kick to the body.
Clinching up. Shot from Avinash. Suri with the overhook on the wall.
Elbow to the side of the head, scores. City looking at his corner.
This is a place where Suri is very comfortable. He trains this all the time at Parabellum on the wall.
Hold that far wrist for me, buddy. Cover the head if we can. Little shots with that elbow there all day, Siri, if you want that elbow to the temple.
City making Chowdy work.
Chowdy on that single leg.
Watch those elbows. Yeah, good.
Nice
Excellent
reversal.
work. The crowd responds.
Nice snap down from Suri.
Will we see a submission attempt?
Might look for that Darce choke from here. Avinash looking to fight those hands.
And you hear the corner saying hook the leg. City listening to his coaches does exactly that. City just taking his time. As we know, mixed martial arts, a game of inches. No need to be in a rush.
Oh, he's got the anaconda choke.
Anaconda choke sunk
That looks
in.
tight.
Chowdy trying his best to get out, and he does. Excellent stuff.
Keep that wizard, keep controlling that head for me. And Siri, step back when you see it.
A great battle here at 145 pounds to kick off BTC 3 Prophecy.
You gotta get some weight on that shoulder.
Now it's Chowdy with the front headlock breaking off. Chowdy putting pressure on Suri.
Chowdy coming forward, caught and taken down.
Nice.
A little overzealous.
Suri needs to just settle down here, take his time. He's in a good position.
City in a dominant position right now.
We got 90 seconds.
I'm not sure the extent of Avinash's ground game, but he's sitting here in half guard right now. Let's look to see if he starts to progress.
Keep those coming.
Nearing the end of the round.
Nice elbow over the top. Ooh, nice ground and pound by Suri.
Big elbow scoring. Chowdy aware of the danger, trying his best to get out of that position. But sometimes that's easier said than done when you're getting zipped.
Suri's gonna look for that Nurmagomedov control. He's controlling his other hand with the other side.
Excellent position.
Now he's got a free hand to strike. Avinash is in trouble here. He can't stay here.
The referee will certainly be taking a look, but
got his arm back.
Chowdy in a better position defensively.
Chowdy regains full guard.
And you see Chowdy with his mouth
taking some deep
wide
breaths.
open.
Yep.
A very taxing round.
Big elbows over the top, nice ground and pound.
Looking for the arm lock.
Avanash looking for that right arm bar. He's eating some punches for it though. He can't stay here.
Round one coming to an end.
Great finish for Surrey.
An action-packed 5 minutes from these two young featherweights. And when things go so well, when you look at what we saw from City in round one, what adjustments are you making, or are you just saying just keep doing what you're doing?
I can say just keep doing what you're doing. Take him out of his comfort zone. Again, Avanash, all his fights have been won in the first round, so he's now going into round two, which he's never been before. So just keep putting that pressure on him, try and break him down bit by bit, and the finish will come.
And to play devil's advocate, if you're in the corner, if you're coaching Avanash Chowdy, what are you telling him?
I'm saying that round's done. Let's get over. New round. Keep your distance. All right, you started getting a little overzealous there, coming in too hard. You got taken down, ended up on the ground, getting ground and pounded. Let's keep the distance, stay away, and let's chip away.
Because it certainly looked like he was very effective when he was throwing those punches moving forward. So he's just got to reel in the aggression?
Reel in the aggression, yep. Be more tactical.
And they are back at it for round two.
Avanash taking some deep breaths already.
Is he playing possum? As he
wounds up on that right hand.
Big right hand.
Nice leg kick from Avanash. Nice job by Surrey. He comes upstairs, nice head kick. Surrey smiles.
Is Chowdy wasting energy with those tactics?
I don't think so. Nice takedown by Surrey.
An inside trip, scores with the takedown.
Avanash back on his back where he finished round one. Even some elbows on the cage. Not a spot where you want to be with a head press against the cage like that.
Elbow right to the middle of the forehead, looking for the arm lock.
Going for
it
that
looks
right
like
arm
it could
bar.
be tight.
Surrey needs to stack him up here. Surrey needs to stack him up. He's out. Nice.
Excellent work by Chowdy to get to a better position, but finds himself giving up his back.
And then Surrey has his back now. Nice armbar attempt by Avanash. He's giving up his back. He's going to get flattened out and ground and pounded.
He has got to get out of this position ASAP because the referee will not allow this to continue much longer.
He needs to move.
This is not intelligent defense.
Avanash needs to kick a leg out. Surrey with a relentless ground and pound here. I like how he's flattening him out there, taking away his base.
A brutal attack. City just going to town, having his way with Avanash Chowdy.
This ref taking a close look. This fight might be close to being over.
It certainly appears that it should be. The fight almost out of Chowdy. Exhausted, battered.
Oh. He's able to get back to half guard here. A little bit better position.
Nice, sneaky tactic.
Covering the mouth. Disrupting his breathing. I like it.
A veteran move.
Yep. From an 0-0 pro debut.
Things are changing.
Big time.
Very quickly.
Chowdy needs to make something happen here. He needs to go for a sweep, submission. He just can't sit here and take shots.
It just appears that he's so exhausted that he can't fight back. It almost feels like City can now just coast into better positions.
And if I'm Surrey, I'm just doing this all day.
And I hear the corner of City saying, don't pass, stay in this half guard position, and basically beat up your opponent.
Very reminiscent of like an old Tito Ortiz. Stay in the guard, just pound away.
Remember how destructive that was?
Very.
Yeah, let's try to work that right leg, hitting his free arm.
But I will tell you, Avinash Chowti, one tough individual.
No quit so far. I like it. Oh, you
Comes
sneak
out
up
the back door, looking for the leg lock.
This is what he needs to do. Sorry with the nice crossface, taking away that knee bar opportunity.
Let's clear that leg though. Yeah, right one. The right leg, the right leg. Scroll the right leg back. Heavy scroll. You can see that knee bar. Little shots here. Yeah, good. Just keep that weight.
Chowdi's still going for that knee bar. He needs to extend his legs out here, or he's just going to sit here and eat shots.
Chowti all in, but unfortunately it did not pay off.
So you're riding that back. He's got one hook in now. He's still peppering away on Chowti.
Is there such thing as a 10-7 round? Because I think we're looking at one.
Pretty close, I think so, yeah. At least a 10-8. Man, this is a very one-sided beating so far this round. Oh, he might be under the neck now. He needs to flatten his hips. Oh, doesn't have it.
There is no quit in Avinash Chowti.
Taking some big shots here. He's going to look to get that neck. Looks like he might survive in this round again.
Get that choke right now. Get that choke right now. Elbow to spine.
He's riding a little high on the back here. And the round's over.
10 minutes elapsed. Chowti, to his credit, got back to his feet pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was a beating.
Yes, it was. I just don't know how you would have the confidence going into round 3 after a round like that. But somehow, as a professional athlete, as a fighter, you have to find it.
This is where heart comes in. You got to dig deep. You're still in that fight. Let's go. You got one more round to do this. And here's a round now where he knows he's down 2 rounds. He has to let everything out if he has.
But I guess the one point you can take out of that is he took his best. That was his best. He couldn't take you out. Now it's your opportunity.
Now it's your opportunity, exactly. You got 5 minutes to do it here. And again, if I'm Suri, wash, rinse, and repeat. Same thing again.
Do you believe there's a responsibility of a fighter who's been so dominant that you have to close out the show, you have to get the finish?
Obviously you want it, of course, but I'm not going to put myself in a vulnerable position to get it. If what I'm doing is winning, I'll just keep doing it.
Suri City with that round kick, with a front kick, and then Chowti comes back with the round kick. Blocked by City.
Chowti's keeping his hands real low. Goes in for a far double leg shot, easily defended by Suri.
Looks like it was right into the submission attempt, but...
And gives up his back again. Suri riding that back. Gonna get his hooks in, there they are. This is not a good position we're gonna be early in the round. Suri looking up, locked up that body triangle.
Keep that wrist trap. 1 minute in.
Not a real fun position, the body triangle, especially when you're exhausted.
Oh, absolutely horrible. Even when you're fresh, it's horrible. It cuts off your lungs. When you're exhausted, it's excruciating.
You can hit the body too at that angle. Yeah, good. That hurt. Body like that. Body head. Body head.
And you hear Coach McDonald saying you don't have to go full out, just short shots will do the trick.
Just chip away. Hopefully create an opening and capitalize on the opening. So he's riding a bit high. Oh, he got a second hook, and now he's going to drop his hips down and flatten him out. Probably one of the worst positions you could be in MMA right here.
You can't see.
can't see. All that pressure from the hips on your lower back. It's horrible. And now you can pound away the side of the back of your head.
No elbows, Siri. No elbows. No elbows in that angle. Keep them flat. Good. Siri, just tap it. Just tap it.
As a fighter, when you get to the ground in this position, inside of the cage, is that always the goal? Let's see if we can get our guy to that position.
Absolutely. I'm looking for mount. I'm looking for back. That's my two finishes. I love both those positions. Any spot that's going to put me closer to finishing that fight off.
Look where you are, Siri.
But Avinash Chowdy showing his resolve.
That's halfway. We got 2.5 minutes to finish this fight. Good shot.
Chowdy just needs to create space here. You're down 2.5 rounds.
It's there.
You're going to, exactly, just like that. Create space back to your feet. He's got an underhook and pressing against the cage.
You're good. Breathe. There's an opportunity to turn. You're going to feel it.
This is what he needs to do right here.
But the same things as before. Got too close. And I can only imagine that sometimes that can be the will breaker.
Demoralizing. Finally get an opportunity, right back to where you started again. You got to build your way back up. All that energy taken to come back to your feet, now you're right back down.
Look how close you're in the cage. Just sweat your guts. Take your time. There's elbows there when you see him. We don't have to work hard.
But one would imagine
Little shots though for me. Little shots.
Lyndon and Rory looking at their athlete making his professional debut. It couldn't go any better than this.
Couldn't go any better than this.
Let's just say it goes 15 minutes. You got 15 good minutes under your belt. Super valuable for your future.
Exactly. I know everybody loves a flying knockout in 10 seconds, but this is going to help him a lot in his career. What I'm more impressed with, he's listening to his corner.
Yeah.
Looking over, taking advice, doing what they're saying. Sometimes it takes many, many, many fights to be able to do that with your coaches.
I want you to stay here for the next 45 seconds, and then you win this fight. So it's little shots. You're way more tired than you, and he knows there's nothing you can do at this point.
So you're just grinding him now.
Head and arm choke, perhaps? No.
I'm just going to look to chip away. Maybe come to full mount here. Again, looking for that Nabib Nurmagomedov grip. Holding that arm from the back, so you have an open hand to strike. Chowdy looking to use the wall.
20 seconds. 20 seconds. You're not gonna get that, but keep hitting.
City just making it a rough ride. 15 minutes in the books. Surrey City taking it in.
Great pro debut by Surrey.
I have a feeling that Avinash Chowdy is not going to be feeling the best tomorrow.
Absolutely not. I feel that Chowdy has a good striking pedigree. It just looks like he has to mix it in with mixed martial arts more. He's rushing in, not worrying about takedowns, and then that's where he ended up all 3 rounds. Unless you're comfortable on your back submitting people, it's not a place you want to be.
Right. And we look back at some of the action from round 1. City with a couple of opportunities to finish the fight. But this just shows you how dangerous. Avinash throwing up arm lock attempts.
It was a nice attempt. He got Surrey pretty deep there. Surrey did a good job defending, sneaking that arm out. But that's what we needed more of him that on there. He was on his back too much, only threw up that one submission attempt. We got to be busy down there.
We'll send it up to ring announcer John Nash for the official decision from our opening bell.
scores the bout 30-26. Judge C scores the bout 30-25. All three are winner by unanimous decision.
A very dominant performance. Surrey City in his professional mixed martial arts debut, and I have a feeling the boys are going to be celebrating tonight.
They sure are. They got lots more work to do tonight, though.
A lot more action still to come. BTC 3 Prophecy. 2 titles up for grabs. We'll see the crowning of the 165-pound champion. And Josh, this is something that's been talked about for a long time, 165 pounds. Will the world take notice? Do you believe at one point we will see 165 pounds in every major organization in the world?
I hope so. I think so. You know, we do 125, 35, 40, 55 wide. All of a sudden, the jump up to 170. So I think every 10 pounds is fair, especially in that gap between 205 and 265.
Huge.
There has to be something in the middle there, at least one, maybe two divisions.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, 170-pound matchup coming up next.
Missed out on his debut fight due to his opponent dropping out. Since then, Urgus has made good on his MMA debut with an impressive second-round TKO finish. Now he makes his way back to the BTC cage to face off with Florida's Smith Amisail. The undefeated prospect looks to raise his stock with another victory June 23rd.
That's all I work for. I work to get my hand raised. I don't care about anything else. You know, I don't care for the lights or anything, all that, you know, jazz. I just hand raised, done, on to the next. That's all it is.
He's a special fighter because of his determination. He's well determined. He's eager. He's a eager to train type of guy. He wants it. He wants more than I ever expected him to want it. You know what I mean? And those are guys they don't come around too often.
My Monday, Wednesday, Fridays would look like in the morning 2-hour session. Then I'll do weights, which takes an hour. Then I'll do a run, which takes like 50 minutes. And then I'll come back at night for jits. My Tuesday, Thursdays look like 2-hour session, weights, and then I got a workout with my strength coach at 7, and then I got jits at 8. So like 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
He knows what he's got to do, and sometimes I have to pull him up and just say, listen, man, it's not a fun house. You know what I mean? And he gets it. And for a young kid to get it the way he's been getting it since he's been around, he's been flourishing in all of the aspects of arts. When it comes to forget about mixed martial arts. When it comes to his wrestling game, jiu-jitsu game, his boxing game, his Muay Thai, he's in school learning all the time. Why he's gonna be special.
Even though I got a training camp and I'm focusing on this guy, I also look at it like, okay, but how am I going to better myself? How am I going to be better in this fight than I will be in the fight before? How am I going to, you know, better myself here than I am before? And I always have a goal like that when I train. I always try to, okay, this version of Fight Me is going to beat the last version of Fight Me. We're not working for perfection. We're not trying to be perfect in everything, but we're trying to be efficient in everything. And that's what I believe is what's making me good, is that I'm not trying to, you know, be perfect in my movesets. And I'm not trying to be perfect at this, perfect at this. I'm trying to be efficient at this stuff. That's what I feel makes my camp so good. I believe in what I want to do. I believe in my moves. You know, I don't believe they're perfect, but I believe in the efficiency of the moves, and that's what I feel makes my camp and makes the work so good, and why we have a solid work ethic and why we prepare well for our fights.
Be mindful on what you guys are doing, man. Switch partners when you guys are moving and slipping on that defense. Remember, we're looking. We're getting away from the jab. You're not supposed to fucking get touched. Because that's what you're focused on, that's what you're working on. We just work on different looks, right? So, and I think I've done that with Urgus since he's been competing in mixed martial arts, because for some reason he has this thing that fights always fall out, so we always work on different things, different styles, different looks, so he doesn't ever really seem like he's overwhelmed with what's at him, you know?
Say hi, Paul. Hi. Hi, Paul. This is Paul. This is Urgus. This is the Goose, the Rhino, the one and the only.
That's it, Paul. You can leave now. He's right up there with him. He's helped me so much in the grappling aspect of it, where RG would help me more with the stand-up. Almas would put it together, more explosive and put it together, and Paulie would nitpick the ground, just strictly like more of the groundwork. We're doing this way. I have a system for you. It's gonna fit you perfectly that I think will work for you. Let's try it. It's very technical. And there'll be days where we'll look at our videos and then we'll just drill what we're doing there. So that Paulie fits right up there. Same guy, same thing, same story. Take him down, ground and pound, release the hounds.
And there we see Amasile Smith. Looking like he is in tip-top shape.
I like his walk-on music too.
Is your walkout music a reflection of who you are?
I think so, a little bit. I came out to the same song my whole career, so.
His opponent fighting on the right corner, Assenza.
Segeta. Segeta representing Grants. In this day and age, when you look at the two different body types of the athletes that we have in there, how important is athleticism?
I think athleticism is huge. I think it plays a big factor. You can be a great fighter and have all the skill set and knowledge you have, but if you don't have that natural athleticism, I think you just, maybe some guys can reach that pinnacle, but most won't. I think with that athleticism, you can turn, someone that has a decent skill set into an amazing fighter just based on that. It's a great base to have 100%.
And our ring card guy, Elias Theodoro. You heard us right, Elias Theodoro of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Theodoro helping to break down gender stereotypes.
I don't know why he's got a shirt on.
This bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, 170 pounds. And when we saw Smith come into the cage, he just floated around.
Very comfortable already.
Well, we see him float here.
Burgess in the southpaw stance. Nice chopping inside leg kick by Smith. Shot right away by Burgess.
Segeta in the blue. Yes, he wants no part of Smith in the upright position.
Nice single leg. Smith doing a good job. Come back to his feet, using that cage. Needs to turn his hips towards him, push that head down and away. Nice underhook.
And you can just feel how strong Smith is.
He looks like a physical specimen, right?
Keep that hip easy. That's it. Small little chucks.
Burgess trying on that high crotch. Needs to pull him up. There it is. Pull him off the cage just like that.
Bring it. You feel it first. Don't rush it, feel it. Don't rush it.
Segeta is part of the plan to exhaust his opponent, Smith. Constantly do this.
This is grueling, taxing. I know it's not the funnest thing to look at from the regular spectator, but this is mixed martial arts right here. There's a lot of technique going on right here.
And when you can exhaust your opponent, openings can come later. And there, I'm sure the fans are appreciative of the big slam.
Huge high crotch takedown by Burgess. But a good job getting back to his feet by Smith.
And those are some of the things that you can rely on when you have that athletic background.
Exactly. That spring in your back pocket, right back up to your feet.
You have a little more horsepower when you need it.
Exactly. Smith giving his back up here. Burgess dropping down for that high crotch again. He's deep in on that leg. He needs to pull him off that cage again. Nice defense by Smith. Nice crossface and a sprawl.
Controlling the foot there, Smith.
This is a good spot for Smith. Just let him work underneath. This is very, very exhausting for Burgess. A lot of work going on here.
Is it a lot of work if you have that background? If you're a grappler by nature and you've spent tens of thousands of hours in this position, it becomes less tiring.
Of course, yes, but it's still tiring.
Yeah. You just learn how to manage
exactly
the exhaustion.
Being comfortable being tired.
That sounds awful.
Motion something else, Burgess. Motion on something else. 2 minutes. Get the back. Get that back.
Burgess needs to break right, throw some strikes, and shoot back in underneath that double leg. Smith needs to get his back off the wall, look to get an underhook, pivot off. He's caught back in that high crotch again.
Nice and good there. Nice switch. Swung me. Left knee to it. That's it. Again.
Smith's doing a good job at defending these takedowns, but still being the one pressed against the cage this whole round. He's got to make something of this. He's got to get off this wall.
But luckily for him, things have been fairly even, that all it will take is for these two to disengage and you land one or two big things and you can be up.
Exactly.
A grueling battle for position. Homicide Smith with his back against the cage, trying to figure things out.
A big knee attempt there by Smith. Nice jab by Burgess. Both men exchanging jabs.
Smith trying his best to fight from the outside, snapping out that jab.
Smith keeping his hands really low. Nice inside leg kicks, but he gets taken down off of it. Right back to the cage.
Segeta trying to slam the knee into the midsection. A big deep breath at the end of the round for Smith as he saunters back to the corner.
If I'm Ergus, and my game plan is to tire him out the first round, take him into deep waters. I think he did an absolutely great job doing it. Grind him against that cage, make him work, make him defend takedowns, feel your weight, and then look to open up.
Both men do appear to be tired, and of course, why wouldn't you be? I'm sure Smith getting some valuable advice in the corner.
I'm Smith's corner. I'm saying, get off that wall. There's a warning track 2 feet away from that cage. I'm circling off. Can't get the press against that again.
Always looking for our tail.
Long punches, keep my distance, stay away.
Now they are back at it. Segeta, the blue, Smith, the black shorts.
We're just looking for that high crotch. Careful about that neck, leaving that neck out there like that.
Because by the look of it, Smith has one hell of a squeeze.
Looks like with those arms.
Yes.
And they separate. This is where Smith needs it. Needs to stay on the outside, move away from that cage, circle off. Can't get pressed against it, just like this.
But as you see, Smith a little wobbly on his legs. Exhaustion, fatigue, all factors.
Ooh, nice cross. Ooh, Smith with an uppercut missing. Again, back against that cage, needs to get off here. Ergus putting that pressure on him.
Little elbow attempt.
Double leg, he's gonna pull him off and finish this. There it is.
Segeta trying to get to that mount position. Controlling the hips, the waist.
We'll take the back here.
Smith giving up his back.
Let him carry the weight. Let's work. Small side, small. There you go.
Nice close range shot by Sergey.
Keep working. Head off line. Here we go. Head off line, Ergus. Head off line.
Segeta looking like he is taking control in all the areas here. A knee attempt by Smith, misses the mark.
Smith looking exhausted now. Nice body shots by
excellent work, yes, indeed.
Big double leg.
Segeta picking his man up again and down. And the crowd once again responds. Everybody likes a suplex.
Everybody loves a slam. Especially when you pick him up and walk around with it. Old Matt Hughes style.
Exactly.
Ergus might be looking for this arm-in guillotine here. Nice knees as he comes to his feet.
But it does seem that Smith still has a lot of energy left.
He's still in it. He's still in this for sure. Ergus has been the aggressor. That relentless pace is taxing. When you have somebody that's just always coming towards you, always putting pressure on you, it's tiring.
Just doing something, non-stop.
Just exactly, doing something, put in your face. Never giving you a rhythm. Nice strikes here by Ergus. Smith's got to look to pummel his arms in here and get that underhook. Try to spin him off the wall, get his back away from the cage. Nice whizzer by Smith. There it is, he needs to pummel that right arm in. He's gonna give up his back, he lets go of that whizzer.
I've been told by some of the best fighters in the world that sometimes you know what to do, but when you're in there, you just don't do it.
And your body just says, no,
I don't
too
think
tired.
so.
Not happening today.
We're going to try a different path.
Smith taking deep breaths here.
A bewildered look on the face of Smith, but still can rely on his athletic background. Got that bounce. Well, we see Smith collapse as Segeta is pouring it on.
45 seconds, Ergs.
Head forehead under the chin.
Get that left hand out. There you go.
Nice elbows by Ergus.
Use your legs, Ergs, for your shots. Use your
Smith
legs.
looking really tired, bringing that jab back to his waist.
Looking for another takedown. Will it happen? Yes, it does. A constant attack by Ergus Segeta.
Both men exhausted here at the end of round 2. Oh, Superman punch. Big deep breaths by both guys.
Sometimes I would imagine that the most important thing isn't even advice in this position, is that just recover.
Recovery. I mean, you got 1 minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why your conditioning, your training leading up to the fight is so important. Being able to recover so fast. But basically, I'm sitting there catching my breath, getting my breathing back under control, getting a drink. I'm just trying to focus myself. I got 5 more minutes to do this.
Well, we've seen many coaches in the past. They're bombarding their athlete with, tactical advice. Can you even process it when you're that exhausted?
I think it kind of depends on the athlete.
Right.
Some people can, some people just really don't need any advice. They just kind of calm them down, relax them, settle the breathing.
5 more minutes.
If you're in the corner of Segeta, I mean, you don't need to tell your guy that your opponent's exhausted, but shouldn't you point out that, look, yes, you're tired, but he seems way more tired.
I love when my corner says that to me. It makes it so reassuring. You're tired, but this guy's way more tired than you.
Turn your body. Turn your body. 3 floors.
Segeta continues to walk down his man.
Nice, mixing up the body shots, coming back upstairs.
Will we see the round kick, I was going to say, to the liver? It's wide open. But he goes a little bit higher.
That's the beauty of the orthodox versus southpaw. It opens up that whole side for that body kick. Ergus getting showboaty here.
Does he sense the end is near for his opponent?
Oh, he takes the back. Both hooks in.
You hear the voice of Ryan Grant screaming instructions, confident that his man, that his pupil will be able to get the Mataleon, the rear naked choke.
It's hard to tell where we're sitting, but looks like it's under the chin. Smith's fighting the hands. He's going to readjust to the other side. And he fights it off. Good job by Smith defending that choke.
But he certainly lost energy fighting it.
Well, it's either that or the fight's over, right? So. And they back away, back to his feet. Smith needs to use this here.
Yes, good work to the body.
Nice body shots by Ergus. I like how he's mixing that up.
Now you make it a guessing game for your opponent, because Smith kind of frozen, not throwing anything. So now you can really mix it up.
Nice big overhand left by Ergus. Smith gonna wall walk it back to the wall again. Nice knee by Ergus.
I will tell you, the referees are certainly letting the fighters fight tonight.
Love it.
Yeah, Smith very wobbly as Segeta targeting that liver.
Ergus just needs to pick his shots here. He's got a guy that can barely stand up. Be a sniper now, don't be a brawler. Or just overwhelm him.
Yeah, which, exactly. Not even a takedown, and Smith falls to the canvas.
Nice over the top elbow by Ergus. I'd like to see Ergus, if he could, that left head kick come upstairs. Smith hands right down, and that's wide open for him.
Hands up, Ergus. Stop looking like that. Stop looking sloppy. Guys, stop looking sloppy. He wants to quit. Make him quit. You got 1 minute.
Smith having a hard time right now inside of the cage.
Ooh, nice overhead. And Ergus points to his mouth guard there. I think if that punch had landed in round 1, it would have done a lot more damage. Smith absolutely exhausted.
He just can't defend himself at this point. I'm sure his hands, those gloves feel like cinder blocks.
Oh yeah, down by the waist. And that's it.
15 minutes.
Both men exhausted.
The crowd liking what they saw. Ergus Segeta really taking it to his opponent Smith. Crowd certainly on the side of Ergus.
I can tell you from experience, after 15 minutes of grueling work, that feeling of victory after, it's so worth it.
Because all the hard work paid off.
All for your winner,
Together with the victory. It's one of my favorite things about the sport, the respect.
Leave it in the cage.
Takes two to tango.
Exactly.
As an athlete, Josh, how soon after do you dissect your performances? You go in there, do you fight, you get the victory, you may lose. How soon after do you look at the things that you did right and you did wrong?
Definitely not that night.
Right.
You know, you got to take some time, get away, enjoy the process. You know, even win or lose, you worked hard this whole training camp to fight. Go enjoy some time. You know, whether it's that Monday after or the Monday after that, if you take a week off, sit down with your team, see what went well, see what went wrong, dissect it then. Give yourself a break. Yeah, I don't like when people go back to the corners right after and they start, you know, saying what I did wrong, what I did wrong. You know, let it digest a bit.
So we look back at some of the action that went down over the course of 15 minutes. One of the highlights there, a big slam takedown.
There's the nice Matt Hughes taken to the center of the cage.
Matt Hughes, Frank Trigg.
That was my favorite fight.
Yeah. And this is one of my picks for fight of the night. Tyler Wilson taking on Gabe Sagman. Unfortunately, Tyler Wilson failed to make weight. Luckily, Gabe Sagman said, I don't care, I'll fight.
And he took the fight on short notice as well. What, I believe it's 10 days or 2 weeks, something like that. But props to Gabe Sagman. Took the fight on short notice, 10 days notice. Came in here and had a lot of success in some spots.
And this is the nature of the game.
That's it.
And here is how things played out in this, what was supposed to be a bantamweight matchup, ended up being a catchweight bout. And I think the reason why Tyler, I mean, clearly he's skilled, but it's his ability to do damage in those small positions. In every position that he's in, he can wreck you. And I think that's why he's been able to have success.
It's the gray areas, we call it. The gray areas in between that wrestling and that grappling, or that wrestling and the striking. That's
because he's always thinking about striking in those positions.
Exactly. For it, whether that's, you know, taking more money off of the fighter or I don't know yet, but there definitely should be more repercussions. Seems to be happening more and more.
Yeah. And for our viewers, you know, mixed martial arts really isn't that old. It's a sport that continues to evolve, continues to progress. And who knows, maybe in the years to come, it will be the sport that we all hope it would turn into.
Yeah, I agree. I hope there is no more weight cuts. I would love it if you fought at your walking on weight. Everybody goes up a weight class or two, maybe some 3.
And if George St. Pierre had his wish, no rounds.
That's pretty interesting. I do like the 1 round. I like a 1 10-minute round.
Yep.
I feel that would be perfect.
GSP likes 1 no time limit round.
That could be a little bit long. I don't know about that one, but I don't know how TV would like that.
And there you see Crewellin and the bully, Adrian Woolley, Canadian mixed martial arts royalty.
Looking nice and stocky.
Sagman looking like he is in tremendous shape. Looks like he's added bulk over the years.
He looks thicker, yeah, definitely. I know that he has, I think, competed at 125 as well, or he was open to it. Looks like he's thickened up a bit.
What type of fight will we see here tonight? I'm confident it will be an action-packed one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the BTC heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. He holds a record of 3 victories with only 1 loss. Representing Title Physical Academy out of Kingston, Ontario, please welcome John Wilson. His opponent fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He also weighed in at 135 pounds. He holds a record of 4 victories and only 2 defeats. Representing House of Champions, fighting out of Hamilton, Ontario. Please welcome Gary. This bout is sanctioned by the Ontario Athletic Commission.
Tyler Wilson looking really calm.
Yeah.
Fedor-esque.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about watching him fight. He just has this, and he's been in some scraps.
Looks like he just woke up.
John Ramdeen alongside the gentleman Josh Hill. Cage side for BTC3 Prophecy. And Sagman comes out aggressive. And Wilson not concerned. Not at this point.
Nice left hook by Sagman there over the top.
And it looks like Wilson just gonna pick his shots. We don't need to throw 8 when we can throw 1 and make it count.
If it lands.
Yes, that's it.
Lands.
Nice knee by Wilson, targeting that liver area.
Nice wall work here. Both guys. Sagman with that overhook. Looks like he's gonna break off here.
These guys are throwing the heat. Lateral movement for Sagman. It's that low kick by Wilson. He's trying to control the center of the cage.
Nice takedown by Sagman.
Nice sweep by Wilson.
So here we are. On the ground. Sagman with that knee shield. Wilson gonna look to pass. Sagman back to full guard.
Will we see an MMA jiu-jitsu match? Or will we see Sagman look to get back to the upright position? As Wilson looking to advance his position, taking the back momentarily, Sagman back down.
Sagman needs to get that overhook on that right side there. He's gonna give up his back here. And there it is. Eating some shots for it.
But Sagman quickly back up. Some blood trickling from the nose of Sagman.
Needs to fight the hands, push his hips out.
Wilson relentless.
Switches off to that single leg.
Excellent work.
That's it. Nice sweep by Wilson.
Tremendous stuff here in round 1.
Sagman finds himself in full guard with his head against the cage again. Nice over the top elbow by Wilson. Oh.
Wilson settling into the closed guard. Sagman looking for the triangle, perhaps arm lock, omoplata. Wilson wise.
Nice awareness by Wilson. Coming over the top of that big elbow that just missed the mark. Gabe looking for that switch there momentarily. Tyler pulls him back off the wall. Wizard needs that whizzer again. If he doesn't get that whizzer, he's gonna get his back taken. Very high-paced fight so far. Gabe swinging heavy.
And another takedown.
Nice takedown by Wilson. I'd like to see Gabe pick his shots a bit more. He's coming in really heavy, swing everything, but he's leaving himself vulnerable for that takedown. Nice ground and pound. Nice knee by Wilson. Kevin Randleman-esque.
Yeah.
Wilson looking to pass. Gabe with that knee shield.
Looking for the submission, perhaps. Wilson again avoids. Wilson trying to advance as he batters Sagman from the top position.
Nice elbow over the top by Wilson. Watch the up kicks.
A lot of blood coming out of the side of the left eye of Sagman, and Wilson using it as a bullseye.
Like a shark.
Yeah.
You smell the blood, you're going after it.
And a very high-paced first round.
Wonder how bad that cut is on Gabe.
And the team working diligently to make sure Sagman is safe and ready to go for round number 2.
I'm going to be cutting a fight. The one person I do want in the corner with me is Alan.
That's right.
One of the best cut men in the business.
What changes do you expect here in round 2 from Sagman?
If I'm his corner, I'm saying either put this guy in his back or we got to stay away and pick our shots a bit better. We can't rush in and get taken down again. Let this guy sit on top of me. Wilson stands very upright, very tall. When someone stands like that, those hips are there for the takedown. Big overhand right by Gabe again. Again, Wilson forced him to the cage.
Wilson
switching off the double. Nice dump. Gotta watch his neck here, though.
Sagman with the squeeze.
That looks pretty deep. He's stuck.
Wilson saying, thumbs up.
He's stuck in half guard here. He needs to get that right leg over top.
And you see Sagman taking some deep breaths. We know that this can burn your arms out.
I've had that happen before. Go for a choke too long. You got to stand up on your feet. Your arms feel like cement blocks. Gabe needs to be careful here. There's a Von Flue
choke, yeah.
He reaching for that, and he's out. And Gabe needs to get his back off that mat, back on the wall. Use the wall to wall walk. Get your butt underneath it. Like that.
It's like he heard you.
Nice knee on the way up by Wilson. Gave a bloody mess.
Wilson, you know, a very intelligent fighter. It's unfortunate that he missed weight. But I would expect this a big learning lesson. And there is the moment for Gabe Sagman. Let's see how his top game is.
Both men went for a double leg there. Gabe got a little bit under the hips. Oh! Gabe
this one looks tight. but it looked like Wilson got out.
Nice defense by Wilson. Knew where to roll. Put his back on that mat. I like the aggression though by Gabe, but he needs to pound away here, make him uncomfortable. That'll open up opportunities. Got his back. One hook in, two hooks in.
Will Sagman come around onto the mount? Looks like that was the thought process.
Tyler turned into him. Got half guard now. Looks like he's going for an arm triangle choke.
Yep. Trying to get through the guard.
He's going to look to pull that leg out. I wonder if the cage is going to be a factor here where he's positioned.
I can't tell how tight it is. But Sagman in a good position. Gonna just try to slowly, inch by inch, pull his leg out. Get a better position.
Oh.
And Wilson gets out. Excellent defensive abilities.
Ooh, nice up kick by Wilson. Nice sweep by Wilson. Gabe might be a bit wobbled from that up kick. I think he is. He's hurt. Wilson smells blood. He's pouring on him.
Gabe Sagman in big trouble, perhaps.
Nice elbow. Gabe needs to clinch up. He's in danger. This fight being stopped.
And the fight is over. Referee Brian Beauchamp stepped in. He has seen enough. A tremendous battle. About it going into this matchup, the way to erase the memory of you missing weight is to go out and have a performance like that.
Exactly, getting a big win. I think it was that up kick that started that whole thing. Gabe got a little bit too much over top of him, got kicked with that kick in the chin, and it kind of wobbled him, and then Tyler smelled blood.
Do you agree with the stoppage?
I was just about to say that. I'm not sure if I do or not. I know the referee's out there trying to, look out for the safety of the fighters, but as a fighter myself, if I'm going to go, let me go out of my shield.
Sure.
I think it was a bit premature. And it happened as they broke apart, and he was still on his feet, still coherent.
But one thing I've learned about mixed martial arts fighters, you guys are too tough for your own good, and sometimes you don't know when enough is enough.
I agree. They're willing to die out there, But in my mind as a fighter, what if?
Yeah.
What if I survived that? What if I came back?
I had another round. I could have won the next round.
Exactly. It'd eat away at me.
You let me take this much damage. Let me take a little bit more.
Yep. I think at the amateur levels, that's much more important.
Sure.
Stopping the fights early, I agree with it. But when it counts on your record, when it counts for money.
Yeah. But I'm sure most of the people in here do not think that that was an early stoppage. Impressive performance from the super scrappy Ty Wilson.
Tyler Wilson was originally supposed to fight Vlad Kazbekov.
Yep.
I'm sure Vlad's in the house. I'm sure this is a fight now that he wants even more. He had to pull out due to an injury. So I think that's a really good, intriguing matchup, Vlad versus Tyler.
BTC, make it happen.
props to Gabe Sagman. Took the fight on short notice, 10 days notice. Came in here and had a lot of success in some spots.
And this is the nature of the game.
That's it.
And here is how things played out in this, what was supposed to be a bantamweight matchup, ended up being a catchweight bout. And I think the reason why Tyler, I mean, clearly he's skilled, but it's his ability to do damage in those small positions. In every position that he's in, he can wreck you. And I think that's why he's been able to have success.
It's the gray areas, what we call it. The gray areas in between that wrestling and that grappling, or that wrestling and the striking.
Because he's always thinking about striking in those positions.
Exactly.
It is time for the ladies, 115 pounds. The Brazilian, Ryan dos Santos, taking this fight on short notice. She is representing Jackson Wink, the powerhouse mixed martial arts entity from Albuquerque, New Mexico, that has produced a plethora of mixed martial arts champions, including the often criticized John Jones.
Johnny Bones Jones.
A man that many people would say the most talented and perhaps the greatest fighter in the history of mixed martial arts because of everything he has been able to do inside of the cage. Forget about the extracurricular activities.
Yep. I personally think if I had to pick one or two, I'd say it's either between John Jones or, in my mind, George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
With Demetrius Johnson in the running. Dos Santos dancing.
Trying to get into that flow state.
Get into that flow state we were talking about, yep. Really not much pressure on her in this fight. She came in here, I think it was a week notice. Lindsay being the hometown girl.
Last-minute instructions before Dos Santos makes her way into the squared circle. Really getting into the groove right now. Trying to find her zone. And she will need it. Because Lindsay Garbutt always means business. Big pop.
Big pop for Lindsay.
And we see Lyndon and Rory and our man Justin Bruckman, one of her longtime coaches, who is running for city council in his native Oshawa, Ward 5. You got to vote. Loaf for mayor.
Loaf for mayor. It's a good hashtag right there. Start that one.
And when you have a support system like that, you know that Lindsay will be in tip-top form.
I think Lindsay's just happy that she has a fight. She's gone through, I think, 3 or 4 different opponents in the last, like, 3 weeks. Always that worry of, is that fight going to fall through?
she seems like stuff like that doesn't faze her. Blow the roof off of this place.
People like watching the ladies fight, right?
Three 5-minute rounds. 1:15, the name of the game.
Here we go.
Garbett in the black, Dos Santos in the white. Both of these athletes with the bounce, and it's Dos Santos that attacks first, the lead leg.
Nice stiff jab by Lindsay. Nice body kick by Dos Santos.
I like how relaxed Dos Santos is.
Very calm. Answers with her own jab. Ooh, nice cross by Dos Santos. Lindsay's got to move that head.
It's one of the things we know that she's good at, is moving her head. Looking for the throw and gets it. Beautiful stuff by Dos Santos.
Lindsay stuck on the bottom and half guard here. Dos Santos going to keep that pressure on her.
Dos Santos super calm.
Very calm. Only 2-1, but looks like she's been here many more times than that.
And as you pointed out earlier, that's the importance of that amateur background. If you can establish X amount of fights, it's an easier transition, I would imagine, into the professional game.
Absolutely. The more you can get in there, under the lights, in front of the crowd, the more comfortable you get. It took me about 10 pro fights to actually feel comfortable in there.
Use that right forearm wedge against the hip to control that leg a little.
Still stuck in half guard here. Can regain full guard.
Nice back step by Dos Santos in the cross side position.
Nice pass by Dos Santos. Ooh, nice up kick. Dos Santos right on her.
Looking for a submission perhaps, or just using it to get to a better spot.
Dos Santos looking to hunt for that leg. Both girls looking to hunt for that leg.
And the team does not want Lindsay Garbett to go for that ankle lock.
It's one of those things, unless you're super confident, it's kind of a crapshoot. Who grabs it first? Both ladies back to their feet.
It's amazing how looks can be deceiving.
Very much. Two sweet-looking girls. Now they're battling out. Nice exchange and nice double leg by Lindsay. Drives her into the fence. Dos Santos stuck with her head wedged against that cage. Looking like she's hunting for that arm and guillotine there.
Threatening. But does she have the awareness?
Hard to get when you're in that position. Lindsay doing a good job of stuffing her against that wall. Great spot to be, your corner right beside you as well, right in your ear.
What do you believe the judges are looking at in this position? Are they looking at Lindsay, who's on top, or Dos Santos, who's kind of have the arm wrapped around the head, looking for a submission?
That's the thing. Used to be, wrestlers get on top, they're winning the round, and that's how they did it. Now it's kind of evolving a bit more. You're seeing submission attempts count for more, which I agree they should. But if you have one submission and you're kind of stuck there not doing anything else, it's kind of hard to judge. I'm glad I'm not one.
But shouldn't it be real submissions? You can't just wrap your arm around and say, hey, look, well, I was going for a guillotine.
Absolutely. I think they need to be threatening.
And Garbett out, finally. What type of damage can the Canadian do with less than 10 seconds remaining in the opening frame?
Gonna rain down some punches and finish the round with an exclamation point. Close round.
Very close round.
Interesting to see how the judges score that. Dos Santos the better first half of the round. Lindsay finishing strong.
Don't want to put you on the spot, but if you had to be a judge, objectively speaking, who do you believe won that round?
Put me on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Dos Santos was threatening more for submissions earlier in that round. They both got a takedown each. The striking was pretty close. Honestly, it's a toss-up depending how you're looking at it. Maybe who finishes stronger. Right. That would be Lindsay. Both girls look like they're in good shape.
Yes, indeed.
Not breathing heavy at all yet.
Now round kick telegraphed. Big looping right hand just misses the mark. And Dos Santos capitalizes. Hunting for that neck.
Dos Santos ends up on top now. Looking to pass that guard.
Head up. Feet on the mat. Shoulders stay on that cage. Yeah, that's the way, Liz, that's the way. Let's get those feet on the ground.
Good body awareness by Dos Santos. Making Lindsay carry her weight.
It feels like jiu-jitsu is her main art.
It looks like it, definitely.
That's 1 minute in.
Very aware on the ground.
Okay, Liz, I don't want you to walk up on that arm. I want you to use that. There you go.
Santos passing again, which is off the cage. The better spot for her. Nice ground and pound by Dos Santos.
Do you believe it's important to have a base art in mixed martial arts? Something that you focus on, that's your strength?
I feel it does help. You see a lot of wrestlers transition MMA, and they seem to have the most success. But in today's era, it kind of seems like everybody's starting off with mixed martial arts. And I think that's the future.
Dos Santos just relaxing on top.
got that half butterfly. Looking like she's just trying to keep tight.
Hoping the ref will stand them up.
Looking for a stand-up. I know when I talked to Big John McCarthy, he was saying in this situation, if someone's just holding them down, he won't stand them up because he feels they're stalling on the bottom. So depending how the referee's looking at it.
Dos Santos trying to get past the guard.
And there it is. Referee standing them up.
Was that a gift?
Let's see if Lindsay can capitalize on this. Ooh, nice return from Dos Santos.
Dos Santos aggressive.
Nice exchange by both women. Body kick by Dos Santos.
No fear from Ryan Dos Santos.
Both ladies swinging. Wow, good exchanges there. Oh, Dos Santos jumps to the back. He's gonna be careful. Watch out for that arm in that triangle. Looks like she's aware of it.
Her coaches shouting instructions right in her face.
Yes, good. Very good.
These short strikes, that's what make her move. They'll get you out of a bad situation. We're back to that position we finished the last round in here.
And I guess if you're going to lose a part of the round, you might as well lose the first part.
Exactly, finish strong. Always try and finish strong.
Garbage just trying to crush Dos Santos, not allow any type of submissions to come up. As we've seen Dos Santos more than willing to attack from her back.
Wedge that right there. Use the cage and let's work to pin that top
Santos looking to swim, use the cage. She looks to hunt for an arm. Lindsay's aware of it. Looks like she's going for omoplata.
Very crafty is Dos Santos with Garvin up to the task.
This is where she pulls away. Now Dos Santos attacking that leg again. Referee warns her for holding the cage.
Garvin hammering away at the cranium of Dos Santos.
There's the way to get out of the knee bar attempt. Pound away. Nice exchange by the ladies.
Excellent stuff, and Garvin quickly wants to prove that she's fresher as she gets back to her feet. I am happy I am not a judge.
Again, another round where, what do you do? Nothing on the feet. Dos Santos landed the bigger shots. Was going for submission attempts.
With those elbow strikes and punches at the end of the round by Garvin.
Anybody's fight. I think this round, if you need a solid round to seal a win here.
Dos Santos, you see her legs elevated. Trying to catch her breath.
How much she was training before this fight, if she was not given a full training camp. Going later in the fight will definitely favor Lindsay.
Maybe that's why she came out aggressive.
Maybe.
He got 2 rounds.
Trying to empty the tank, get it done quick.
Again, Dos Santos in the white, Garvin in the black, third and final round.
Lindsay with a nice inside leg kick.
I like that Dos Santos is willing to do whatever. Throw any type of attack that she can think of.
Very unorthodox. Just throws different angles, everything at you. Nice strike on the break there by Lindsay.
Dos Santos
Big
super
wind up.
comfortable.
Ooh, nice job by Lindsay.
Yeah.
Nice exchange by Dos Santos.
This is excellent stuff.
Lindsay's got to watch her neck here. Dos Santos jumping that guillotine. Can't tell how deep this is. Looks like her head's starting to pop out. She might try and readjust her grip here. Lindsay looks like she got her chin down now. And Dos Santos abandons it. She's gonna look to try and take the back here. And there it is. Lindsay's still got an arm. Lindsay needs to turn it. There it is. Good job. Good awareness. Nice knee by Dos Santos.
Dos Santos certainly means business.
Another knee on the cage. Lindsay looking for that big double leg. She'll leave her neck out.
She gets the slam, but will Dos Santos lock up that guillotine choke?
This is the downside of going for a choke like that. If you don't get it, now you're on your back with somebody on top of you, pressed against the cage. It looks like she's starting to set up a sweep with that right leg. Lindsay needs to pull her back off that cage, make it so her head's wedged against, and then posture up, putting all that pressure on her. The more Dos Santos sits up, the better chance of finishing this.
Dos Santos just holding on right now. Garbutt now free. Can she administer punishment from this position?
Lindsay's corner is looking to tell her to back away, let her on her feet. Nice jab by Lindsay. Santos looking to return. Beats a nice jab for it. Nice head kick. Ooh,
that one certainly got.
Both ladies are swinging.
That one got Dos Santos' attention, but I will tell you, she is tough as nails.
Wow. Oh, Lindsay looked to the same side head kick to get that leg. Dos Santos again hunting that leg right away.
Yeah,
this is the defense for it, though. Someone tries to go for that knee bar, pound away.
Punch them in the face, and this is exactly what Garbutt's team wants. Garbutt's team screaming elbows.
Looks like she might give up her back here on the way up.
Dos Santos collapsing. But you wouldn't even believe that she was in a fist fight by the reaction on her face.
Very calm, even throughout these wild exchanges. 10 seconds left. Lindsay shoots for that double, looking to pull her off the wall.
Looking for the slam and gets it. An emphatic statement made to the judges.
Great fight.
Really good fight.
Both ladies left it all out there, that's for sure.
Tilsonburg's Aaron Jeffrey has spent his entire MMA career competing in the US. In a few short weeks at BTC 3, he will make his debut north of the border. With a combined amateur and pro record of 10-1 with 8 finishes, Aaron looks to make a name for himself in the promotion and reacquaint himself with his Canadian fans.
So I started in Tilsonburg, like a small town, at like some crappy little gym with like kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. Me and my brother just kind of messing around because we liked watching UFC. I moved to St. Catharines for school and found a decent gym there and started training with some buddies there. And after like 2 or 3 years of training, the coach asked me one day if I wanted to fight. I had never even really considered it before, and I said, I guess I'll take an MMA fight. And I fought and got my ass kicked and loved every second of it, so I stuck with it. And then just last year, I moved to Hamilton, and I had trained at Parabellum on and off, so I made the full-time move to this gym, and been here ever since. I just had back-to-back training camps, so I haven't really changed much. I think it's pretty routine at this point. Same sessions, pad sessions, wrestling sessions, sparring sessions. Yeah, just keeping consistent with everything. Feeling good from my last camp already, so there was no like getting in shape or dropping weight or anything like that, so it's been good. I think it's just the mental edge that we have in the room right now. Like the intensity level is like up to 100. Like a lot of times there's only like, my last fight I was the only guy really that had a fight coming up, so it's like hit or miss with training sessions. There's not always a ton of guys in the gym, but now it's like every session is packed, everyone's fired up, like the intensity is always there, so it's good. As cliche as it sounds, it's more about the journey than the actual fighting aspect of it. I mean, like the fight's fun and it's always a good time and it feels like great when you get your hand raised and step out of the cage, but I think the lifestyle of coming to the gym every day, chilling with the boys, beating each other up, going away weekend road trips for fights and stuff like that, it's awesome. There's nothing like it. I don't know too much about him. I've watched his most recent fight. Looks like a big, strong, tough dude. I don't think he's overly technical or anything. I've trained with a few guys from his gym before, and they're pretty decent guys, but I think I'm more technical than him, and I think it's a good fight for me. Just a more well-rounded fighter. Like I said, I've watched his most recent fight, and I think he's kind of one-dimensional from what I've seen. Kind of a heavy hitter, but doesn't look like he does much other than that, so I think I can probably beat him everywhere.
It is time for the big boys as Alex Bolay comes into enemy territory to take on Aaron Jeffrey. Bolay 2-1 as a professional fighting in the Quebec scene. His coach, Jan Pellerin, as well as one of the country's top draws, Adam Deichka, the Kung Fu Panda. And Alex Bolay really well put together. Loves combat. Doesn't matter if it's mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing. Let's strap on the gloves and do it.
Loves the fight.
You can tell that this guy's got power.
Built like a machine.
Yeah.
But so is Aaron Jeffrey.
Yeah,
so that
that's
should
true.
Make for an interesting bout. Both guys looking the part, that's for sure.
Lots of support for Aaron Jeffrey, looking for his 5th victory as a professional. Can you give us the scouting report on Aaron Jeffrey? What does he do well? Where does he excel?
I've only got to know Aaron, over the past year, coming to Parabellum and training with us, but he's, like I said, very well put together, very physical specimen, athletic like we talked about, and what he does well is the strike. He's very crisp, but he utilizes his range really well. He fights long, kicks long, so I'm looking to see with his opponent tonight, if he does have the reach advantage, to stay long punches, long kicks, stay at range.
Should a fighter always allow their body type to dictate what type of fighter they are?
That's kind of hard to go against it, I think, you know what I mean? Whether you're a fast twitch muscle fiber guy or a slow twitch, you kind of got to utilize what you have. Those are some things you can't create. You're just given or you're not.
$185 pounds is the weight category. Alex Bolay in the black with white trim. His opponent, Aaron Jeffrey, in all black, red corner. This bout scheduled for 15 minutes or less. Jeffrey showing mobility right off the hop. As Bolay stalking.
Bolay taking that center of the cage early.
Bolay trying to cut off Jeffrey.
It's that feeling out process. Nice overhand.
That one certainly got the attention of Bolay. But not phased. Bolay, French fighter, moving forward.
Nice leg kick by Jeffries. Bolay still moving forward.
Win that shoulder position right now.
two disengage off the cage.
Aaron mixing up, looking to go the body a bit there. Nice stiff jab by Bole. Mixing up the body shot.
And it seems that the speed advantage go to Jeffrey.
Sneaky shove uppercut by Bole. Nice check kick by Bole.
Oh, and a low blow. Accidental low blow lands on Alex Bole. I've often wondered, what is the best tactic? If you get hit by a low blow, do you take the full 5 minutes even if you've recovered 4 minutes ago?
I think that kind of depends on, you know, how tired you are.
Yeah.
Really, if you have it and you have that opportunity, I'd take it. If not, I don't want to get too cold. I want to get back in that fight right away. Looks like he's recovered. We're back at it.
Is Bole just headhunting?
Very two different styles here. Bole very rigid, very stiff, looking to throw big shots. And Aaron's moving on the outside, moving his head, throwing feints. Nice double leg. Beautiful transition from striking to wrestling there by Jeffrey.
Aaron Jeffrey in control right now, but as I say, that Alex Bole doing his best to get back to the standing position.
Bole's wall walking. He's that there. Does that wither there? He's back to his feet. This position here is all about head position. See Aaron Jeffrey's head is underneath the chin of Bole. So he's the one at advantage right now. Bole's gonna look to pummel that left underhook in. Look to swim off that wall. Aaron snatches up that high crotch and finishes it. Nice takedown.
Racking up points right now is Jeffrey.
Nice control, inside control now.
Advantageous position.
Bole's gonna give him his back up here. Gets to the wall, good awareness.
Let's turn to the side, get those feet off the mat. He's front right here.
Jeffrey's making his way around to the back and then controlling the front. Trying to sap the energy of Alex Bole.
Little shots there when you see them, buddy.
Jeffrey just chipping away in the half guard position here. Bole looking for a Kimura, but
shoulder lock. Will he use it just to get to a better spot? Can he get a sweep?
Can be dangerous not having that guard.
He's gonna gas out. Here, we can step around if he keeps trying to fix that. Get your hand back. There you go. Turn his head off the wall. Yes, sit now. Sit on that arm.
Like a Matt Hughes, George St. Pierre situation.
That far side armbar, exactly. He's lucky the cage is here helping him a bit, his positioning, but and Jeffrey's free, back to side control. He's gonna look to posture up and punch. Got that front headlock. Might look to snap him down and come underneath.
The two big men forced to utilize energy.
Good head positioning by Jeffries. He's where he's winning these little battles here on the wall. It's exhausting. Very frustrating as well.
5 minutes down. Jeffrey, I'm sure, confident as he strolls back to the corner that that round belonged to him. want to thank you for tuning in to BTC 3 Prophecy. John Ramdeen alongside Josh Hill. Lots of great action tonight. But as is often the case, the ladies stealing the show so far.
So far, I gotta give it to them. That was an action-packed fight from opening bell to the end of the round. Jeffrey's bouncing around, looking light, looking in good shape. Let's see the conditioning on Bole.
I know there's one school of thought out there that believes that to have the type of muscle mass that Alex Bole has is kind of going against some of the principles of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, you know, the more muscle you have, the more oxygen you need, the more tired you get, the faster. So it's kind of like that. Do I trade off strength for longevity and endurance? It kind of can work both ways. There's pros and cons to both. But then you see some guys like Sean Shirk that don't get tired and built like tanks.
But what about factors like range of motion and whatnot?
That as well, you know, the more muscle you have, the more stiff you are, less flexibility usually. Nice double leg shot. Nice.
Little telegraphed, but Bole couldn't see it.
Ends up on his back.
Will Jeffrey pass, or is he content to stay in this position and just rack up points on Bole, attacking the head and body? But he's got to be throwing.
I can hear Aaron's corner calling and bring him over to his corner right in front of him. And sometimes on a canvas like this, you can actually just push him and slide him right over to him. Listen to his corner. Oh, the Bole looking to get up to his feet, and he does. And with that front headlock, put the arm in. And keeping that pressure on him. Bole breaks free.
Bole able to use his power.
Nice overhand.
And the right hand scores. Aaron Jeffrey.
Nice leg kick by Jeffrey. And get that Bole standing straight up tall, putting all that weight on that lead leg. Chopped it down. Again, chopping that leg.
And another right hand.
Nice double jab with the cross to follow, and he's chopping that leg again. Jeffrey's starting to find his range.
Yes, he is.
Getting in a rhythm now. He sees that Bole's tired. He's landing shots. Nice switch step.
Mixing up speed and timing and rhythm.
Very composed, very disciplined. I like how he switches step up too.
And he's moving off the line, not being a stationary target. And Bole's just having a very difficult time trying to place anything.
A little sloppy on that shot there. Back to his feet. Jeffrey's moving around like a lightweight.
Yes, he is.
I like seeing this. I think footwork is so underappreciated in the sport. And I love seeing when guys use it and take advantage of that.
How can you not love Dominic Cruz when you watch that guy move?
Yeah, you know, these are some of the guys that I emulated with my own game. Nice leg kick again by Jeffries, really targeting that leg. Bole's still game.
Yes, he is.
He's still coming after him. He's still charging forward.
And we know he still has the power.
Still has big men like this. One shot can end the game. Again, chopping that leg. Nice head movement by Jeffries.
Bole not committing to anything. And as we've been told, commitment is key.
Nice feints.
This could be it for Alex Bole, but as I say that,
comes right back. Ten seconds left. Nice jabs exchanged.
Bole hurt there. Round comes to an end. Tremendous stuff over the course of 10 minutes.
Bole obviously going to be tired, going to be frustrated going back to his corner. Obviously they know he's going to be down 2 rounds.
What's the cliche? It's gut check time.
It's gut check time. Do or die. Leave it all in that cage. You got 5 minutes to do it. If I'm Jeffrey's corner, more of the same. Keep chipping away. You're in a great rhythm. I love how he's mixing up his feints, getting Bole to bite on things and then capitalizing on it.
Is it important for a corner, your coaches, to be honest with you and say, look, you're down 2 rounds?
Absolutely. I tell all my teammates that, everybody. I tell my corners that, be honest. If I'm down, if I'm getting my ass kicked, tell me. Put it on me. I want to know.
Five minutes remaining. Aaron Jeffrey loving the experience.
Bole charges forward again. Oh, nice stiff jab, wobble Bole. He swings back wild.
Bole knows how to channel the hurt.
That's that tough grittiness, that fighter in him. Even though he's wobbled, he's still trying to go for the kill.
Oh, that one just missing the mark.
Nice level changes by Jeffrey, up and down.
Oh, beautiful stuff. Alex Bole hits the canvas. Aaron Jeffrey, and that is it. The crowd here at the Central Arena going bonkers.
Beautiful finish by Aaron. Good stoppage by the referee.
Truly a masterful performance.
Very disciplined.
Yeah.
Didn't rush or anything. Didn't start brawling with the brawler. Stayed tactical, stayed technical. Picked away at his shots. Eventually got the finish. Perfect game.
Took control.
And that's exactly what you do when you have somebody that stalks you and walks forward. Someone that just wants to brawl and get in your face. Move angles, move your footwork, move your head, change levels. Beautiful performance by Aaron.
And this is how it all played out.
Big right overhand over the top. And follows it up with some heavy hammer fist.
the lightning out of the left hand of Scott Hudson.
Tonight is Kyle Prepolec's night.
Kyle pouring it on. Yeah, and Kyle is so violent in his striking. Oh, liver shot. Liver shot. It's over. Wow. Holy smoke.
Oh, and Scott not wasting any time going for the double.
Big pickup and a slam.
Oh, right hand and drops him there with the left. Scott Hudson puts the lights out.
What a beautiful performance by Hudson.
The co-main event of BTC 3 will be a showdown between two of Ontario's top-ranked pros, Mississauga's Scott Hudson and Windsor's Kyle Prepolec. After impressive careers all over the regional MMA scene, they are both on a tipping point of career breakthroughs. June 23rd, they will face off for BTC's inaugural 165-pound super lightweight title.
He's been on my radar for a while. I knew that if we both kept winning, it was only a matter of time that we fought each other. It's 5 rounds. It's going to be a war.
He's a big, well-rounded guy. He's, he's tough, but I don't think he's ever had an opponent like me before.
Kyle's the type of opponent to bring it at me. I always have the best fights against really high-energy guys.
I feel like I'm the more complete, better version of whoever they have fought. I am that next level.
Live in Burlington, June 23rd. Scott Hudson has grown up and trained all over Ontario's Golden Horseshoe. Originally born and raised in Mississauga, he now lives in his adopted home of Hamilton. Scott spends his time training between Parabellum in Oakville and BTC in Burlington. Coming off a pair of impressive wins in the BTC cage, he has his eyes set on his first pro title, June 23rd.
I was into boxing as a teenager and I was training recreationally. I really loved it. After I finished playing like competitive hockey and competitive sports as a teenager, I worked for a couple of years and I really had like a competitive void missing in my life. I decided to get into mixed martial arts. I've been doing it ever since. I started training at a couple of gyms in Mississauga where I'm from. And then I traveled to Thailand, had some amateur fights out there, some Muay Thai fights, came back home, trained, at a couple gyms in the GTA. In my amateur fights, in my early fights, I had some easy go, so I thought that it was like easier than it actually was. And then once the competition started getting better, and I took a couple losses, I was like, I really gotta figure my shit out or quit, right? I got hooked up with Rory, I think in like 2012, because we had the same manager at the time. And when he opened his place, Para, I've been training with him ever since, making trips back and forth to Thailand in the meantime, and obviously here at Burlington Training Center as well.
Scott Hudson has a number of things going for him. He is a tough human being, a tough human being. There is no quit in Scott Hudson. He's got a work ethic like you wouldn't believe, and not a show-off work ethic. It is part of his lifestyle to show up and train hard and work hard day in, day out, and I have an immense amount of respect for that. On top of that, extremely talented fighter.
Scott's a long guy. He's hard to deal with at that weight class. I think he's going to possess a lot of awkward and uncomfortable positions for Prepolec, but it's going to be a good fight. They're both tough guys.
The environment at Para right now is it's really good. We have a lot of high-level training partners. Obviously, like Adam Assenza, me and him put in work every single day. Josh Hill's out of there. Kyle Nelson we have with us right now. A lot of high-level training partners, and as well as everybody on the card, like Aaron Jeffrey, Lindsay Garbett. Really good attitude. Yeah, it's a good environment to be around. And I can take these fights and I can look at my opponent like a puzzle and how I'm going to beat him. And it's super rewarding, kind of seeing your game plan fall into place. The edge against Kyle is I'm a little bit longer. I do well against southpaws. There's not too much he can show me that I haven't seen before, and I don't see him putting me in a ton of trouble.
All of those things are now paying off exponentially greater than they were early, when everybody's kind of hungry and working and things like that. He sustained that work ethic over a decade-long career, and now it's coming to fruition in a big way for him. I expect a great performance and a big win for Scott.
Across the border from Detroit, Michigan, you will find the home of Kyle Prepolec. Prepolec has spent the last 6 years raking up 10 professional wins with 9 finishes. Coming off a 10-month layoff from injury, he plans on picking up where he left off and solidifying his spot as #1 in Ontario.
Back when I was like 15, I was playing hockey, and then I decided to go into boxing and get stronger, build myself up. And then more parents didn't want me to box. Then I was like, you can't stop me from my high school sport, so I joined high school wrestling. You can't stop me there, right? I did what I had to do and started kickboxing, and kept up with the wrestling and just the mixed martial arts aspect. And then made my way to Maximum Training Center, the gym I'm at now. We got up-and-comers like Shane Monahan and, rising stars, Tony Laramie, TJ Laramie, myself, and then, all the guys from Michigan top team as well. We cross-train with, guys that are in the UFC, and we're getting that live taste of, that grind, that hard work, that extra work ethic that these guys are bringing with us to complete our whole game.
Kyle's a special fighter just because he's such a good athlete. He's just hard to deal with just because, he's got that power, he's got that speed. He looks really good in all the sparring sessions. He's giving troubles to pretty much everybody he's sparring, So he's just one of those guys that when you're in the ring with him, when you're getting punched and kicked by him, you just get overwhelmed and you feel like quitting.
To beat Scott, just go in there and go fight. No matter what he brings, I'll always adapt and be 5 steps ahead or a few steps ahead, and always have something else that I'm gonna do. This isn't checkers right here. This is a chess match now. Whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna do more of and be ahead of that and already think what you're already gonna do. Whether it goes to the ground, if I'm on top, I'm gonna pound you out, try to sweep or submit. If whatever the position is, I'm always gonna try and dominate and keep an advanced position and always be attacking. You can't teach mental toughness. Some people don't like getting hit. I'll embrace it, I know it's part of the game, and like Rocky says, you gotta keep moving forward, and I live by that. No matter how hard you get hit, keep moving forward, find a way to win, become a winner, get what you're worth. The training camp in general has been, a lot better, a lot more well maintained with going to physio and getting in the proper routines and proper timing, the proper food and fuel, and just the support from other teammates to help push and get further. Because there's don't get me wrong, everyone thinks it's always a great day, but we have a lot more hard days than we do good days, and we just make those bad days into our great days, and that's what helps us become the greatest of all time, right? That's what helps us get to that level. And I feel like with the teams for a Michigan top team and MTC, with everyone embracing and working together, I feel like that's what it takes to get to that next step. What you should expect from me is, a newer, complete, better version of me every single time. I'm always full of surprises and full of excitement.
Fighters can be a little bit delusional, a lot of themselves, so you gotta have people around that are being brutally honest with you, and I think I have that.
Cardio, the hard work, the ethic, I'm not training to get second place. I'm training to get to my dreams, and I'm not letting anyone stop me.
People think that I'm a striker, but it's not necessarily true. It's just I want to take the path of least resistance. You know what I mean? So if I feel like that's where it's going to be, and I'm going to stand, and I can keep you at range and do my thing against you, then I'm going to do it. If that changes and I've got to close the distance and work on the inside, then that's what I'm going to do. If I've got to take you down, if I've got to work to get off my back, if I've got to, play jiu-jitsu on the top, then it's what I've got to do. I've got the decision wins, knockout wins, submission wins.
Whether, you know, it's dirty boxing, pressure against the cage, I gotta take him down, wrestle him, or outstrike him, wherever it is, I'm gonna control and dominate. I will take every position I can.
Welcome back to the Central Arena here in Burlington, Ontario for BTC 3. Prophecy, John Ramdeen alongside Josh Hill. And we are getting set for the crowning of the first ever 165-pound champion. As the Maximum Training Center's Kyle Prepolec looks for win number 11 as he takes on the skilled Scott Hudson, somebody you know something about.
I know both these guys really well. This is probably the fight that I was most excited for when I heard about it. Kyle, you know, me and him have fought on many cards together, Score Fighting Series days, and then of course I trained with Scott Hudson at Parabellum. So when I heard this matchup was happening, I thought, you know, that's a dynamite fight.
People have been talking about Kyle Prepolec for a long time. They believe that this is a young man that could make his way to the biggest stage. I remember he was often compared to George St. Pierre based on his physical attributes, the way that he moved, and if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the guys that he looked at. I'm sure a lot of fighters look at George St. Pierre, and
absolutely,
this is what we want to be.
One of the best. He's been in there with some good guys too and mixed it up, you know, Alex Ricci.
That's it. World-class guys, exactly. Of course, coached by Reno Belcastro. You also see in the corner of Kyle Prepolec, the TKO 145-pound champion, TJ Laramie. Big ovation for Scott Hudson. And I really believe this is a sign of the times, that this is something that we're going to see in the future. 165 pounds across the board. People have talked about it. As a matter of fact, one of the broadcasts I was doing for TKO was joined by Canadian Mixed Martial Arts royalty Sam Stout, and he says it's never going to happen. They've just been talking about it for so long. We've given our input. I don't know if we're ever going to see 165 pounds.
I think so. I think changes are happening.
Yeah.
You know, with the early weigh-ins now, with females fighting in the UFC, that was the one time a thing that wasn't going to happen. So I think the more weight classes, the better. And
if you remember, there was a time where 145 pounds wasn't in the UFC.
Exactly.
135 pounds. Demetrius Johnson was 135 pounds. There wasn't 125 pounds, so anything is possible. We just need education. We need the right people pushing the sport in the right direction, because health and safety is the most important thing. We know about weight cutting and the dangers. So come on, let's add some more weight classes, and this is a perfect way to introduce that idea to the masses.
Agreed.
And there you see Scott Hudson.
When I see Scott Hudson, I get to see him every day in the gym, and he's very skilled, trains hard. But what's different about him is I think he's a game day player. There's different types of fighters. Some guys leave it all in the gym, and they're, you know, gym heroes. And there's some guys that are, when they step in the cage, they just rise to this different level. And that's what I see in Scotty.
So you believe that the day of, he's better than you've seen him in the gym?
Exactly. When it's time to perform and show, you know, what you're training for, he steps up to the plate.
Well, he's certainly going to need to do that tonight.
But I definitely think this is his toughest test yet. And if he does get a win over Kyle Prepolec, it will be his biggest win, that's for sure.
And it's for all the marbles. Thunderous applause for Scott Hudson. The cage door is closed. Championship bout about to get underway. 25 minutes or less. Kyle Prepolec in the dark shorts. Scott Hudson in the red.
Right away, Scott Hudson in the orthodox stance and Prepolec in the southpaw stance. Scott's the taller guy. Looks like he can have the longer reach. Let's see if he stays long and fights like a long fighter.
We see that Hudson is standing upright. Fighting super tall. Is that what you want for your opponent to have to punch up?
Especially, it depends on who you're fighting. When you get a guy that's a wrestler, you know he's going to try and take a shot. You do have to lower that stance to be able to defend those takedowns. But when you are fighting Prepolec, I mean, he is very well-rounded, but he's known more to be a striker. Prepolec going to the body early. Nice body kick by Hudson. Double jab by Prepolec.
And I'm sure that Kyle Prepolec will continue to attack that lead leg of Hudson. Super fast jab landed by Prepolec.
Nice check by Hudson. Nice jab by Prepolec. Nice body kick by Hudson. And a straight right follow.
That right hand of Prepolec, very fast. And we heard the corner of Hudson say, "Don't get greedy." What does that mean?
Don't get greedy. It's a 5-round fight, a title fight. Pick away, choose your shots. You got lots of time to work with.
Is it easy to remember that when you're in a situation? So, right. This is, I have to be in this for the long haul.
That's the discipline, right? That's where it comes from. The more experience, obviously, the better. But knowing that, this is potentially 25 minutes. If I don't, finish him off in that, flurry, am I going to be tired after? It's got to be much more calculated when you add on those extra 10 minutes. Prepolec going to the body again.
Seems like both men more than happy to engage here in the middle of the cage.
Prepolec looking for that low leg kick.
We're seeing that more and more.
It's becoming more and more effective. Yep. Guys are utilizing it. It's hard to defend it. Prepolec fakes for that takedown, comes upstairs.
It seems that ever since Ben Henderson started using it, everybody started using it.
Exactly. I think he was the one that pioneered it. Scotty steps in for an elbow, a little out of range. Nice mixing it up there, hitting the body, going to the head, and then back down the leg by Hudson. It's a veteran move. Prepolec comes back. Oy. Oh. Head kick of his own, just missed the mark.
And I like what Prepolec's doing. He's smashing that body. He knows in round 4, that'll pay off.
He's trying to get Scotty's hands to come down and block those body shots so he can open up that head. Nice inside leg kick by Scott Hudson. That was a lot of weight behind it. Those are going to pay off in the later rounds. Nice timing on the body kick.
Both men doing their best to administer damage.
Prepolec tries with the elbow. Nice body kick.
And there we see Hudson fighting long. Oh, that left hand got the attention.
Prepolec swarming on him. Scotty might be hurt here. Nice body shot. Goes to the double. Gets it.
Outstanding move, but Hudson quickly trying to get back to a good spot.
Propolec's in a dominant position. Hudson's got to move here. He can't stay here.
Serious power displayed. Less than 10 seconds remaining in the round. Can Hudson survive? I believe yes is the answer. Wow. What a round 1.
What an end to that round. Just like that, it can change quickly.
And I imagine that's probably what you want to do as a fighter. You want to zip your opponent right at the end of the round so they're scrambled sitting on the stool.
Exactly, just saying, what happened? What did I just do? And he's in the judge's mindset.
Elias Theodoro, our ring card guy. Top middleweight, the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Hudson's doing good as a longer fighter. He's staying long. I like that body kick up the center, especially against the southpaw. Prepolec starting to find his timing, find his rhythm, and getting inside. It's all about the footwork here, trying to get inside against a longer guy. Both fighters looking pretty fresh. I'm sure they trained for a 25-minute fight. They're in good shape. Nice return jab from Hudson.
He avoids the shot and fires back.
Nice return.
Oh, and a big uppercut. Round kick. Hudson's in big trouble. But clearly he is tough. Able to absorb that, and he moves forward. The clash of legs there.
Those are hurt tomorrow. Hudson still might not all be there. He's looking a little bit slower now. He's still firing. Nice body shot by Prepolec, an elbow inside.
Beautiful job by Kyle Prepolec.
Hudson's hurt. He's wobbly. Prepolec's doing a good job of not rushing in. He's picking his shots, working that body. Coming over top. Hudson's hurt.
This could be the beginning of the end for Scott Hudson. And yes, it is Kyle Prepolec storming Hudson. And it pays off as he gets the victory and the 165-pound championship.
Wow. Great patience shown by Prepolec, knowing he had him hurt, didn't rush in. Picked his shots and finished Scott off. Great heart displayed by Hudson. Wobbly and still trying to fight through it. I seen this fight on paper and I knew it would deliver some fireworks, and definitely lived up to the hype.
main event in Burlington on June 23rd will be a clash between two of Canada's top pro fighters. First, Burlington, Ontario's own Adam Assenza. Adam has racked up 4 finishes in his last 5 fights, and he'll be looking for another one on Saturday night. His opponent will be Moncton, New Brunswick's Sean Wallace. Wallace has 7 professional wins, ending 6 of them inside the distance. He's shown a well-rounded game and the ability to finish a fight anywhere. In the biggest fight of both men's careers, they will face off for BTC's lightweight title. With 2 dangerous finishers entering the cage on Saturday night, this is a can't-miss main event. Adam Assenza is coming off back-to-back TKO wins in the BTC cage. He now takes on his toughest challenge to date. In preparation, Adam spreads his time among a variety of gyms: Parabellum, Bay Area Athletic Club, and Burlington Training Center, cultivating different looks and skills. He will compete Saturday for BTC's inaugural lightweight title.
I've always been an athlete. Growing up, I was a gymnast. I was an artistic gymnast and a national tumbler. And I did that till I was about 16, 17, and then I got out of that and I needed something to kind of fill that void, so I started training martial arts and MMA, and that kind of took over. Training and fighting is fun for me. This just seems like the right fit. I get the best of both worlds. Training at Paris is phenomenal. The coaching staff's amazing, and the talent and the work ethic in the room of all the fighters that come out I can't say enough about it. It's hard to get that sort of atmosphere at one gym, but Rory McDonald, Lennon Whitlock, Lucas, and Chris Prickett, they're able to put that all together in one gym.
Adam Assenza is legitimately one of the most gifted athletes I've ever coached, trained with. We haven't ever competed in a real sense, but competed with on the mat. He is a gifted human being, and a lot of dealing with Adam is about harnessing that athleticism. Now that he's starting to become a bit more seasoned as a fighter, he's getting the benefit of both ring time and experience and that athleticism. That is a tough combination for any athlete to compete against.
I love watching Assenza fight. He is an athletic, attributes-based fighter. He's very skilled, he's very smart, but it's his attributes that make him just a little different than other fighters. He can do things physically that are deceptive, that are unpredictable. And so that makes him quite special. Very, very, very quick grappler, strong striker, moves in and out quickly, kind of bounce in, strike you, and slide away. Very, very fun to watch. When it comes to the supple skills, Adam's the kid here. He's the one. You see the way he's putting these together.
There's not really a particular problem that he presents. We look at his strengths and his weaknesses, and then we tailor our game plan to typically attack those areas of his game. I match up well everywhere with most opponents. Like I said, I have a well-rounded game. I feel confident in all parts of my game.
Smart fighters are prepared for the expected response. Adam Assenza gives you the unexpected response. So these two match up physically very well. It makes sense for them to fight each other at the points in their career, but I like the way that they match up with their minds and with their skills and with their attributes. And I just love this main event.
Moncton Sean Wallace came up on the regional scene of the east coast of Canada. He has secured a strong record and now looks to broaden his horizons, taking on one of Ontario's best. Now living in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, he trains at Wolf Run MMA. With a strong team behind him, at BTC 3, he looks to bring a belt back to the East Coast.
Traditional martial arts when I was a kid, like Taekwondo and karate. And then I was playing football in high school, and then someone turned me on to The Ultimate Fighter. And I was watching that, and I was like, wow, I'd really like to try that. So I was like 18, and I took my first MMA kind of class. I was hooked from that. I quit playing football. I just found a local gym to start training at, and I trained for about maybe a year or two before I took my first amateur fight. Training camp's been pretty good. It's always tough. Like the tougher it is, usually the better it will be. Put in a lot of hard rounds and thrown in a lot of areas that everybody always has stuff that they want to work on. So it's coming along great. There's no injuries or anything like that. So that's always a positive thing.
A lot of fun because Adam's the hometown guy and Sean Wallace is coming in here from the East Coast. So on the East Coast, they know him now. He comes from a killer gym, Wolf Run MMA. Jason Sago is probably the biggest fighter out of there. And Jason Sago is a UFC vet, beaten some of the best guys in the world. And Sago gives you the idea of what the blueprint of Sean Wallace is. Gonna make smart choices all the time, extremely well trained, and hard to fight, just hard to fight.
Like, there's not as many distractions, I guess. Like, there's not a big city life to pull me away. Keeps me honest to try to just be a better fighter. I can't be screwing around a whole lot. And I've seen a few of his fights. Looks to be, I don't want to say he's a striker because looks like he's a mixed martial artist, but he seems to be a striker, has a lot of flash, looks very fast, likes to move around a lot, and looks like he's going to be a good opponent. I think I can strike with him, but I think I could beat him up in the clinch and on the ground, maybe submit him. He has been submitted before.
I love this fight. Assenza's very creative and very athletic. He's an attribute-based fighter, but he's technically very strong, incredibly unpredictable, and innovative in real time. Sean Wallace, coming in from the East Coast, trains with Paul Abel and that great Wolf Run crew. Smart, assesses the situation, always finds the path of least resistance, and always uses high percentage choices. Action-packed fight. I love it.
You see this fight going, is this going to be on the feet, on the ground?
I don't know. I see my hand being raised, and that's all that matters.
If we have to strike, we'll strike. If we go to the ground, we go to the ground.
I like to put on a show. Like, I'm all about the show. So fighting in my hometown of Burlington, all my people are coming out. You know, Burlington's been my hood for half of my life. So, you know, I'm just excited to be able to do that.
I just think that I can bring a pressure to him that can maybe break him. I'm not coming all this way just to show up and take a beating. I'm coming here to fight, and I'm going to win this fight.
June 23rd, you should expect some exciting, breathtaking type of performance. Don't miss out. Don't blink.
Welcome back to the Central Arena here in Burlington, Ontario for BTC 3 Prophecy. John Ramdine alongside Josh Hill, cage side. As we are getting set for our main event of the night, we were supposed to see the crowning of the 155-pound champion. However, Sean Wallace failed to make weight. So only Adam Assenza, if he emerges victorious, will leave the cage with the big prize. And I'm sure there is no one more disappointed than Sean Wallace.
Yeah, and the promotion hates that as well, because if he does win this fight, then you're sitting without a champion, really. So I do agree with, though, if Adam does win, he gets the title, but it's unfortunate when someone misses weight, especially with a title fight.
But as I pointed out, and we saw it earlier tonight, Tyler Wilson missed weight by almost 5 pounds. And when the fans leave here, they're not going to remember that he missed weight. They're going to remember that he put on a hell of a performance against Gabe Sagny. So the same thing can happen tonight.
Exactly.
You can turn a negative into a positive, which means you come out, you take out your opponent, say, look, I'm ready to fight for the title now. An impressive resume. 7-1. Be better if it's 8-1. Lots of big promotions looking at fighters with a record like that. Adam Maverick Assenza looking to become the lightweight champion here tonight. And I love watching this guy fight. Super creative, skilled, durable.
Very creative. He'll throw a lot of unorthodox spin kicks.
We'll see that tonight.
Oh, 100% you will. Very athletic. Former gymnast.
Will we see a lot of blitzes from him tonight?
A lot of blitzes. He has that, we were talking about earlier, that fast twitch muscle where he can explode in a second.
I saw him warming up earlier today. A lot of spinning attacks.
They're hard to deal with, especially if you don't experience them often. They don't have somebody in your gym that's always throwing them at you. They come from weird angles. You think you're out of range, all of a sudden you're getting hit with it. And if you do block high, he comes low, opens up that body shot. The dangerous weapons when you utilize them properly.
Sean Wallace representing Wolfront. Gotta give a shout out to Paul Abel. Good cat. And that's just the nature of mixed martial arts now. Everybody's good. Everybody's coached by good coaches. And it feels, are you getting the sense that the future is bright for certainly mixed martial arts athletes in Ontario?
Absolutely. I think the skill level has never been higher. But unfortunately, we don't have enough shows. I love how BTC is, kind of being a stable now and having shows, 3-4 times a year. We need that for these athletes to perform. But like you said, you've seen O&O guys now coming out looking like they've had 10, 20 fights. So that's the skill level where it's at now.
A 155-pound title up for grabs for Adam Assenza. And a victory for Sean Wallace, if he can manage it. Wallace in the blue, white, and black. Assenza in the red and black. You're underway.
Wallace coming out in the orthodox stance. Assenza starting the southpaw. You will see
he switches.
Switch, yeah. Stance back and forth. Nice knee by Wallace. Going high with a head kick.
And there you see his spinning kick right away.
This is spin kicks coming upstairs right away.
And you can just tell the athletic difference between the two, just their mobility.
Hearing their body styles.
And there's the kick Stephen Wonderboy Thompson once banned.
That front side kick to the knee.
Yeah.
1 minute, Adam. 1 minute.
As much as I hate it because I got short legs, it's
you can't take that out.
It's very effective. Nice timing on the leg kick by Wallace.
Wallace showing no fear.
Already switching stances. Head kick.
Wallace backed against the cage. Understands that's a dangerous spot. Circles off and gets back to the center. A side kick scores for Adam Assenza.
Wallace, gotta be careful not backing straight up. Nice leg kick by Assenza to finish that combination.
Nice uppercut by Wallace.
A little bit of hockey fight now. Grabbing the back of the head and throwing.
If it works.
Assenza lands over the top with an overhand right. Nice combination, finishing that chop and leg kick.
Limb destruction there as he lands that round kick to the...
Oh! That's a huge
Assenza going after it, and it is over before it gets going! Adam Assenza shutting the lights out on Sean Wallace to the delight of the crowd here at the Central Arena.
Beautiful left hand counter by Adam Assenza. Rolling underneath that punch and coming upstairs. Perfect technique. Landing right on the button.
Whoa.
Wallace sitting down on the stool, looks all right.
The spirit may be a little cracked, but I'm sure he'll dust that off and he'll be ready to go next week.
The highest highs and the lowest lows in this sport, but that's what makes it awesome.
Your great night comes at the expense of your opponent's miserable night.
Exactly.
tremendous night of mixed martial arts action. We saw the crowning of 2 champions, but no one did it better and more in style than Adam Assenza, getting the job done in his own backyard to the delight of the crowd here at the Central Arena in Burlington, Ontario.
Beautiful left hook, put the lights out on Wallace. You couldn't ask for anything better. Winning in your hometown, especially in a spectacular fashion like that, unbelievable.
We've been talking about it, the health of mixed martial arts and the up-and-coming talent has never been stronger than it is right now in the province of Ontario and maybe right across Canada. It is really just a pleasure to be a part of. What do you expect the future to hold for the athletes?
More shows like this where you're going to see young up-and-comers like what we've seen Surrey tonight grow and grow and grow and give them a platform to build upon. We didn't have that for a long time in Ontario, so I love seeing this. And you're just going to see fighters get better and better and better. And like we said, the lower record guys are just, they look like they've had 20 fights.
And we, of course, could not do it without the support of the fans and the promotion. BTC, for Josh Hill and our entire crew, I'm John Ramdeen saying thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on BTC.